Okay, we're going to attempt to write up a work order. Of course, this here is fictitious. If you notice by the name, it's Mickey Mantle. So, how you would start once you leave the client's house after doing the audit and you have all your notes and everything, you would open up Hancock, and the first thing you would do is click on the client management, and you'll have some drop downs, and you would actually put in the person's name. It takes a little bit of time for that, so I didn't do it at this video, but it would bring you up to this person. So if we had Mickey Mantle on lie heap right now, I would come up with this screen. What we normally do is check everything that's on here to make sure that it pertains to the client that you're ready to do the work order on. And of course, with this one here, it says Mickey Mantle, their phone number. He lives at 123 New York Boulevard in East Providence, Rhode Island, and all that pertinent information. Then as you scroll down, you're going to get to the application. Now we have the client's number right here. That this here should all be populated already. LieHeap does this downstairs for the most part. There might be a couple of things that might be missing that you need, like for example, the WAP ranking. Sometimes that's not in there. And if that's not in there, what you do is you check everything else, make sure any information that you can get is in here. Like this here is a single family house, and he owns it. And then as you scroll down, it'll say the categorical eligibility. And the reason why there wouldn't be a WAP ranking up here is because of this being missing. So what you would normally do is click on it. Oh, yeah, let's try that again. You will click on it, and you have the different sources that you have here for the eligibility sources. So we're going to put them down as an A60 customer. So when I put down an A60 customer, we're going to have the eligibility dates here and expiration dates. Then at that point, you would click on Save. And you wait a few minutes, it'll do its little thing, and then all of a sudden you'll have a WAP ranking. And you can't do anything without this. You might as well shut off the computer. So now you've got a WAP ranking, which I did previous to this, because again, this is a fictitious name, so I had to kind of trick Hancock into doing this. So now we have this in place. And as you scroll down the screen, you have to put in the utilities. And if you add a utility where it says add new, normally these utilities will be in place. A lot of times LieHeap won't put the actual figures in for you, and that's why we have to get the utilities from Judy, and she'll let you know what they use as far as, in this case, what the electric bill was for the year, what the gas account was for the year, and Judy can show you guys on that, and she'll pull it up in the National Grid portion. So the family, income, demographics, and the history we're not really too concerned about. So now I have everything on here that I need. I will go up to Save, and I will save that, because I want to make sure I saved everything in there. Now, if everything works out right, when I hit Open Job, that should give me the job that I want. And it's telling me an error here. Please provide values for the following required fields. Primary heating. Okay. Let's see what the primary heating is. We got the secondary heating. The primary heating should have been Oh, primary heating, I'm sorry, right here, I missed a spot. That's why it'll prompt you if you miss something. The primary heating, in this case, is natural gas. So we'll set on that. Again, I want to save it because I made a change. So now it's saved, and now it should be able to open up to a job. Now we have a job. So now this is the person's job number and the auditor. I'm trying to do this and let's see, how about me? We'll put me as the auditor and the job type. What type of job is it? Base load, crisis, weatherization, and this and that. This will always be weatherization. And the assessment date is basically today. I went out and I did the audit. So today is the 16th. And it was a scheduled audit. And this here stays exactly the way it is. And then we come down to here. The nearest weatherization station is in Rhode Island, it's in Providence, and that's normally always populated, so we don't have to worry about that. So now we have to worry about, let's see if I can do this without messing things up. The building type. What type of building is it? So I click over here. I think I'm going to try to look over the phone. All right, so we're looking at the building type. All right, this guy here, different types of building, log cabins and so forth. He actually has a wood frame home with a full basement and an open joist attic. And an open joist attic means that you actually have an attic floor with the joists coming up, like say on a gable end attic. You might be able to walk in it, or even if it's a crawl space type of an area. But it's open joist. It's not knee walls or anything like that. So now he has this. So we populate that as a wood frame home with full basement and an open joist attic. Now it's going to ask for domestic hot water heating. What type of hot water? How do you heat his hot water? He heats it with natural gas. So he has a gas hot water heater. Now, actually, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to bring it down to electric. He has electric hot water heater. And the dwelling unit configuration, it'll always be detached. And that was a single house sitting on the lot. It's detached. You know, I might have an attached garage to it and so forth, but the house itself, his property is detached. It's not part of like a condo or anything like this here. It's not horizontally, stacked or anything like that. So it's in a detached house. The basement type, I don't know why it's asking you what type of basement, because it asked you that before. He has a full basement. Number of smokers and pets in the house, you really don't have to put this information in here. That's not necessary. How many bedrooms? That there you do have to put in, and you can find that on the lie heap form, and not the lie heap form, but the real estate form that is printed out. It gives you all the schematics of the house and gives you all that information. So the number of bedrooms, and we're going to say he has a regular ranch house. It's a 3-bedroom ranch. And it was built in, oh God, let's see what year. What's a good year? We're going to say, only because of the built before section here. So we're going to say it was built in 1954. That's a good year. I'm not going to tell you why, but that was a good year. So now I'm going to come over, and it was built before 1979, and I'm going to click on that. Now, this here is for the Historical Society and so forth. So with that there, if you look over here when go into Historic Review, if it was built before 1979, we can say it's exempt due to the age of 50 years old or under. But being that it was built before then, we have to click on exempt due to programmatic agreement outside of age. So it's older than the 50 years, so we would click on that. So we would highlight that and click on that. Your air leakage, as you can see, it's already populated. We don't have to worry about this here at all. It's already populated. Then they want to know the dimensions of the house. So with that, I'm going to click on Add New. And I'm going to come over here and we're going to go with the length. The length is 40 feet. So I'm going to populate, put 40. The width of it, we're going to say it's 20 feet wide. Then we're going to go the height. And basic, ranch house, like the one next door, it's only 8 feet tall as far as the walls. We're not measuring the pitch of the roof or anything else. We're just going from the ground level to where the roof starts on the soffit area there. So it's 8 feet. And then we would put down here, because this here is including the basement. So we would put 0 down, and that would indicate a basement. So that is all set there. And what you've actually got is 800 square feet, 6,400 cubic feet just for the basement area. Then you go back, well, we can populate that in and save it. So now we're going to add another one. Now we have to worry about the first floor area. And we're going to do the same thing. It's 40 feet by 20 by 8. And then we come across, and now the first floor level is considered 1. Now if this here was a house that has the basement, the first level, bedrooms upstairs on the second level, similar to my house, then you would put 1 for the first floor level, and then you would do the same exact thing and put 2 for the upstairs. But in this case, it's just a basic ranch house with a basement and the first floor level. And then I'm going to save that. So that's all set. You filled in everything that has to be filled in, and then you would save it. Now on our little sidebar, this here was the audit information. We have WAP documents, and that there would, you would click on that there, and that would be after everything is all done. You've got your invoices in and so forth when you're reconciling this. And this gives you all the different things that you would populate. But this here again is after the audit is all done and the work has been done. Priority audit, you never hit that. Your selected measures, if you click on that there, in my case I have nothing here, because this here in the selected measures would be your install list. All the different things that you ordered for this house, whether it be insulation up in the attic, the walls, if you were installing windows, or whatever it was that you would put in this house, you'd have a list of the install list. That would be there once it's populated. And I'll go back to that once I'm done with writing up the work order, because that'll be populated once I'm done doing the work order. So here's basically where you start to put all your information in. Now you go into weatherization. Oh, let me look over the screen so I can see. So the first thing you will see is heating and cooling. So you click on that, and then over here you have your heating, cooling, and then distribution. Now we're going to add an existing heating system, and I'm going to say OK. And then we get to this screen here. This is difficult because my arm's getting tired. So heating system number 1, which basically is your primary heating. Some people might have space heaters also, but for the most part, you're going to have just your primary heating, your boiler or your furnace downstairs. So the utility is a natural grid gas because he has a gas heating system. We already said that. So then we're going to go down to system type. We're going to click on that. And he has forced hot water. So he has radiators, baseboard radiators in the house, so it's forced hot water. And there's condensing, electronic ignition, or other. 99.9% of the time it's going to be electronic ignition. Condensing the older boilers that they're all fading out. You're not going to be hitting this much at all. So it'll be electronic ignition. Then your usage, of course, it's 100% usage because he only has one boiler in his house. And the heating output, when you're doing your efficiency tests in the basement, this is where you take a picture of that tag that's on the boiler, which gives you all of that information, whether it's 100,000 BTU boiler, model numbers, all of this other stuff. You'll have your input and you'll have your output on your BTUs. So the heating output in this particular house is, I'm going to say it's 80,000 BTU output. So there's 80,000 BTU. Now the flue pipe or the flue pitch. Now, was it pitched at a quarter of an inch per foot of run? And this one here, yes, it was. There was nothing wrong with that, so it passed. But when we did the efficiency, we're going to do a clean and tune on this. When we did the efficiency, we did the back rack, all the work that we do with the back rack. We printed out the slip, and basically the efficiency of the boiler was only 70%. In other words, it really wasn't up to par, and it should be cleaned and tuned. Well, you take that figure of that 70% that was on that tape that we printed out, and where it says efficiency, you would change that because it's not 80% efficient. So you would change that from 80 to 70. So now it's just changed to 70%. All right, so now with that, we're saying, well, we're talking about the heating system right now in Hancock, and we're putting in the information, and we're saying to ourselves, with a boiler that's only putting out 70% efficient, they haven't cleaned it in quite a while, it's time to have this thing cleaned and tuned. So now I'll go over to the selected measures, and over here I'll click on selected measures, and I'll pull down the drop down, and I'm going to look. All right, blow off, tune, clean. Oh, here it is right here. Clean and tune and evaluate the heating system. So I'm going to click on that. That'll automatically populate it, also giving the price of what it would cost to do that. Well, how many of those do I want to do? Do I want to do 8, 9, 10? Well, of course, I'm only going to do 1 because we have 1 boiler. So I'm going to put down 1. And then at that point, I'm going to save it. And I'm done with the actual heating system. So I can save that. Am I running out of juice? All right. And now we took care of all of this up here. That's all set. Now we want to go to distribution system. This is basically the piping, the hot water pipes and so forth, the duct work. So now we want to go to the zonal distribution system. We're set on that. We're going to hit OK. So now distribution 1, which is for our forced hot water, we're going to click on this here. Is it ducts, this and that? All right, it would be insulating pipes. So are the pipes insulated or are they uninsulated? Well, in this particular case, the guy has no insulation on the pipes. So we're going to insulate it. And then as we come over, how many feet of pipe does he have? So coming off the boiler, running up to each of the radiators, running around, we're going to estimate that there was 60 feet of pipe. So now he's got 60 feet of pipe. But now, similar to like in my basement where my pipes are all wrapped, we want to wrap those pipes. So I will go into selected measures. I will open that up, look at the measures, and say, okay, what do I want to do? It's not ductwork, it's this and that. R5 pipe insulation foam. That's what that is. It's R5 pipe insulation foam. So I want to click on that and populate it. Now again, how many, the quantity of it, how many feet do we have? Well, we just said we had 60 feet, so I'm going to order 60 feet of pipe wrap. All right, and then we're going to okay it. All right, so now we have that. But also, he has an electric hot water tank. Now, we don't want, not to address the hot water tank, even though the hot water tank is not in this little section here. Let's give some hot water wrap or some pipe wrap to his hot water. So we're going to add another measure. We're going to go over here. We're going to order the same thing, the R5 pipe wrap. But we're not going to give him 60 feet, of course. What we want to do is we want to run 6 feet coming into the hot water tank and 6 feet coming out of the hot water tank. On both sides of the copper pipes coming into the hot water tank, you want to insulate both sides of that 6 feet in length. So, of course, that's going to be 12 feet. So we're ordering 12 feet. And down here in the little comment section, if you want, I'm trying to do this all together at one time here. We're going to put hot water tank. All right, so we're going to put down here hot water tank. That way there the contractor knows, even though they've done enough of these where if you put down pipe wrap 12 feet, he knows it's 6 and 6, as they say. But you put down 12 feet for a hot water tank. And then, of course, you're going to save it. All right, so basically you've taken care of the heating system. You've ordered the boiler to be cleaned and tuned, and then you've taken care of wrapping the hot water pipes to the radiators, and you've also wrapped the hot water tank. Now the post value over here, you have to assign this distribution. These pipes and so forth, you have to give this to a boiler. So what you want to do is assign it to heating system 1, which is the only one. So we're going to just click on that. Now we've assigned it to that boiler. And then we save it, of course. All right, so we're all done with that. The next one we go down to is the attic. So let me do this over my shoulder so I'm not moving this thing all around. So now we're going to do the attic. And this is the attic measurements for Mickey Mantle. I'm going to open this up. And we have the section type. All right, in his attic, he doesn't have a floor. It's an open joist attic, unfloored. So we're going to go down here to where it says unfloored. We're going to click on that, and we've populated that. Now, the length of his attic was the same length of his house. It was 40 feet in length. So we populate that. Then if we go over, we got the width. And the width was 20 feet. We populated that. Now we come back here to roof type. What type of roof is it? And with his, the MH stands for mobile home, SB stands for stick built, and that's basically what we all live in, is a stick built house. We don't live in a mobile home. So now I'm going to scroll down and find out he's got a gable roof on his stick built house. So I'm going to scroll down, and oh, there it is right there, stick built, and it's a gable. So we click on that, and that populates that. And then it goes to roof material. What kind of roof material is it? Is it asphalt, a medium color, asphalt dark, fiberglass? Is it a metal roof, and so forth? 75% of the houses you find out there are going to be a fiberglass shingle. And depending on the color, if it's black, of course you're going to go dark. If it's white, you're going to go light. This one here has got a gray color. It's a light gray, so I'm going to go with the light. You know, it's not very dark. It's not like a brown roof or anything like this here. So we've populated that. And then we go into the insulation type. And if you notice, there's little asterisks next to these. These are the ones that have to be populated. So now we go into insulation type. And on the insulation type, let's see, he's got nothing in his attic. All right, he's got a house built in 1954. They were too cheap to put any insulation up in the attic. So you get up there, you see nothing but the tops of his ceilings. So as you scroll down, you're going to look, and it says no existing insulation. Click. And the insulation depth. Well, if he has no insulation in it, it means he has no inches. So we're going to put 0 for inches of insulation because he has none. And then you scroll back over, and then we're going to look for framing. What type of framing does he have? All right, when you're up in the attic, you're going to look. Does he have 2x4s as his joists up there? Or is his rafters, or is it 2x6s or 2x8s? Well, Mickey Mantle happened to have 2x6s. So we're going to click on 2x6. Now, if you notice on top here, this is the attic sheet. And then we look for insulation. Well, we can go to vents. Let's go to vents first. Well, we need to put a couple of roof vents in there because there's no roof vents. So the vent type that we want to put in is a regular roof vent. You know, those are those square boxes normally located in the rear portion of the roof towards the backyard. So we're going to click on that. They're $100 each, and we need, well, actually we need 3. Because you should have a roof vent for every 100 square feet of attic space. And he has, let's see here, yeah. All right, we're going to go 3. All right, so you put in 3 roof vents, and that would be it on that. And then we hit save. So now we put roof vents in. Then we're going to go up to selected measures. Well, he has no insulation like we said. So we click for the measurements. And what are we going to do here? We're looking for what we're going to put in his roof. So we're going to scroll down. These are basically all fairly new measures that they put in. And I'm going to look for R38 blown, R38 blown cellulose, right there. R38 blown cellulose. As I mentioned on my other video with doing the the knee walls, I had mentioned that I have R49, which is here. But in his case, he has regular gas hot water baseboard. He doesn't have an electric, so all he needs up there is R38 cellulose. We're not going to put fiberglass, we're going to put cellulose. So he's got basically 800 square feet of cellulose in his attic. So then, of course, we're going to save it. And then we're all done with his attic. We go down here, save and close. Next thing we're going to do, because we've already taken care of his attic, we've put R38 cellulose up in the attic, and we gave him a couple of roof vents up there, 3 roof vents. So now when you come over here on the side, we're looking at walls and windows and doors, and the basement floor, and it goes on down the line. You would normally put in your walls, how big are his walls and so forth. But what we found is if you put in the walls first and then try to put in the windows, for some reason or other, Hancock messes up. So what we do is we put in the windows and doors first, and then we'll come back up and do the walls. So now I'm going to add windows and doors. So we're at the front of the house, and of course I have none of this written down. I'm making it up as I'm going. But we're looking at the section here. And we got door, the glass slider, a hollow, a solid door, and the side. So the front of his house, we're going to do the front of his house first. He has a solid door in the front of his house. And his solid door is 36 inches wide, which is a normal size door for a front entry door would be 36 inches wide. And it could be 78 inches tall, 80 inches tall, 82 inches tall. But of course, I was there and I measured that door, and it was 36 inches wide and it was 80 inches tall, which is almost standard. And so now I put that in. Now, how many doors did he have up front? Well, he had 1. So I'm going to click on that, backspace it, and I'm going to put in 1. So he has 1 door in the front. Percentage of glass. He had a little bit of glass in the front. It was all solid, but he had the little peephole type of glass up front, and that took maybe 10% of the door was glass. The rest of the 90% was all wood, solid door, but he had a little decorative door. So we're going to put down he had 10%